Outside of the ports that we've already looked at, we do have a bunch of other important features here. We have a 26-pin GPIO header with a 13-pin expansion interface that you can use with an I/O adapter that they sell. That will give you 2 additional USB ports, AV out, and an IR receiver. The other 3 pins can be used with a serial debugger. Now that we're finished with the overview, it's time to take a look at the software options that we have and to go through the flashing process. When we head over to the product page for this and click on the download link, we can see that there are 4 operating systems that we can choose from. There are 3 Linux options with a single Android image. I want to look at Android since they have a new version this time around, but I will try to look at those other 3 if I have time. Flashing that Android image to an SD card is not as painless as other devices since you won't be able to use standard tools like Rufus or Etcher. You have to use something called Phoenix Card, and it's far from perfect. I picked a 64GB card for this since that's more than enough space for what I want to do, and I tried to flash it following the directions from the user guide. It looked like that was going to work before it froze for a minute or 2. After that, it gave a burn failed error message. Looking at the SD card in Disk Manager, we can see that it created the partitions, but the card cannot work. So I decided to try again, and it failed again. They say that 3rd time's a charm, so I tried again, and it also failed. I then tried a very cheap Chinese SD card, and it worked, so I decided to try my SanDisk card again, and it failed. Now my SanDisk card is authentic and it passed verification, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but now it's time to boot the Android image. That's a pleasant boot song. Anyway, here's the Android 12 TV image that they have. Not the best in the world, but it should work for what we want to do. They have some apps pre-installed, like wiring Orange Pi, that can be useful depending on your project. I'm more interested in emulation, but this is cool to see. I need to install some stuff on this board right now, and I'm planning to do that over USB. To do that, we need to enable developer options. While I'm here, I like that I see that this is running a user debug build because that's going to make things a bit easier for us later on. Now that I have USB debugging enabled, it's time to start installing apps over ADB. I'll do the rest of this off camera because